3DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
It was a Cinderella story. Who could have believed it? Brian Harman, winner of the Open Championship. I think he was 125-1 odds, something like that. It was crazy. No one would have seen it coming, although we should have. I think over the last 5 years, there haven't been many more with top 10 finishes than Brian Harman. So he's 37. He now has 3 PGA Tour wins. That's his first major. He becomes the second oldest first-time major winner ever. The only guy that did it, he was a year older because Harman is 36. The only guy older was Sergio at the age of 37 when he won at Augusta. Brian Harman was just so steady. They were booing him. They said, hit it in the bunkers, because that's the key, is to stay out of their bunkers. There's more bunkers at Royal Liverpool than I think any other of the R&A's Open Championship venues. And he did. He was steady. Every time they would make a run at him, you know, it was funny. In at least in the third and the fourth rounds, he went 2 over before he righted his ship and ended up under par every time. He had the lead for 51 holes out of the 72. And he just went down to 3 yesterday, and you know what? I'm following it on my phone with just the leaderboard. I was at a vacation spot where you couldn't watch the darn thing. I was killing myself trying to find it. And then I'm in the airport, and nobody had it on their TV. It was just frustrating as could be. But I see it's down to 3, and Rahm is in hot pursuit. Rahm, who had just shot a 63 the day before, the lowest round ever in a competitive event in Liverpool. Wow. I'm thinking, there it is. He's done. But just like he had done the day before, he went to 2 over. Like that, he was back to even and got his lead back to 5. And then he just kept making it happen. The day before, he had 2 more birdies to go 2 under for the day. This time, I believe, he had 1 more birdie after he righted the ship and ended up at 13 under. That is 6 strokes better than anybody. The only guy that was an American that won the Open Championship, the British Open, as we used to call it, was Tiger Woods, who had an 8-stroke margin several years ago. This is 6 strokes. This is a guy, obviously has a world ranking, but not many wins at 36. The smallest guy on the PGA Tour, 5'7", 150. Didn't matter. Down the middle most of the time, and when he was in trouble, he invented ways to make it happen. And the other interesting aspect of this, J-Mo, in my opinion, is the guy was an incredible putter. 40-foot birdie putts, 25-foot birdie putts, 17-foot par save putts. You've got to putt to win a major. This dude was great. He was so consistent and never got frazzled at all by the crowd that was really boorish.
No, that 65 in round 2 really helped. But like you said, he putted well all 4 days of this tournament. I was also really happy to see Tom Kim and Sepp Straka right behind him up there. They played really well. Tom Kim, who I think shot like 4 or 5 over par on the first day, fought all the way back.
On a bad ankle.
With like 68, 67. So it can't be overstated how well he played down the stretch of this tournament as well. Some real good names. I was texting my buddies during the match too. Obviously, I love Tom Kim. We all love Tom Kim.
Yeah.
Sepp Straka is another one I really liked. I was in his gallery, one of like 2 people in his gallery here at the FedEx Championship last year, and I was texting my buddies saying, oh man, Sepp Straka gets a top 5 at the British Open, that gallery is going to be a little bit bigger at the FedEx St. Jude Championship this year. So it was really exciting to see those guys at the top of the leaderboard.
They were absolutely terrific. There's no question about it. Hall of Fame, you got McGriff, you got Rowland in, and I gotta say this. So I'm going to give them medals. I'll get more into that in a second. But personally, everybody now gets MLB, right? They watch. If you love baseball, you're going to watch MLB, and you're going to see great announcers like our friend who's on here fairly often, Bob Carpenter, who does the Nationals, right? What gets lost is radio. Although I believe with some MLB packages, you can actually choose to listen to the radio broadcast.
That's right. On MLB TV, it's all synced up already for you, so you just pick the radio broadcast of whatever game you're watching. That's right.
Well, there's a guy in Chicago. He's been there 20 years. He's been over 30, I think it's 37 or 38 years that he's been a big league announcer. Our friend Bob Carpenter was talking about 40 years. But the Cubs announcer is a guy named Pat Hughes. Have you ever heard Pat Hughes?
I don't think I have.
Next time, if you listen to on MLB and you're listening to the Cubs at all, listen to Pat Hughes. He, to me, paints a pretty darn good picture. He's got a great voice, wonderful vocabulary, great sense of humor, and I think he's a terrific announcer. So he got into the Hall of Fame, had a really pretty speech, and wanted to thank all the fans. It was very eloquent. So if you get a chance, it might have been on ESPN.com. I listened to the end of the speech. It was like a letter. He said, if I wrote a letter to the fans in Wrigley Field, here is what it would say. And he went through it. It's really pretty, really beautiful. He's just a great announcer. And from what my friends in the media in Chicago say, he's really a good guy, too. So congratulations to him. AAC Media Day, I guess, begins tonight. There's a kickoff dinner in Arlington, Texas. And
that just spans for today, right? It's just a one-day event?
It's just tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh, I see.
It's tomorrow. So the Ryan Silverfield contingent includes Seth Hennigan, Jacob Likes, the center, Jalen Allen, and the defensive back, Simeon Blair. So, you know how many wins the Tigers have had since 2014?
I can't even do the math quickly enough to venture a guess.
So in the last 9 years, the Tigers have had 78 wins. That is tied for 14th in the country. They are one of 9 teams with 9 straight bowl appearances. Can I tell you? Do you mind if I tell you who those schools are they are tied with?
Please do.
They are tied with Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma State, Georgia, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, and Wisconsin. Those are the only 9 teams with 9 straight bowl appearances.
It's good company to be in, I'll tell you. Regardless of what bowl you're going to, the fact that you can win, 9 games a year essentially over the last 10 seasons, that's truly remarkable. It speaks to how good the Memphis program has been over the last few years. It really stinks, too, to see like a school. I guess Cincinnati's had a lot of wins over the last 10 years as well, but they've made a college football playoff. You'd like for Memphis to have a little bit more to show for how good they've been over the last 10 years, but those statistics really do say a lot.
I'll give you some more. Yeah, they're one of 4 teams that have 50 home wins in the last 9 years. You know who the other 3 are? Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State. Memphis has 51 wins. Clemson has 59 wins. Alabama, 59 wins, and Ohio State, 55. So, 4th most home wins in college football in that company since 2014. You know how many active players they have in the NFL?
8.
Not close. Double it, baby.
16.
16 active NFL players.
Wow.
Pretty good stuff for a school that I can remember the Larry Porter years. I can remember so many lean years. I remember that drought, that bowl drought that Tommy West and his team broke by finally going to the New Orleans Bowl with D'Angelo Williams. I remember all of that. Incredible. We've forgotten that. We expect so much, which gets me as to part of this, and we'll talk about maybe even more tomorrow. But what are the fair expectations for Memphis football this year?
That's a tough question, too, because of how critical people have been over the last few years, especially last year, of the coaching staff and as the team in general. But they're getting older. The conference is getting a little bit better.
I don't know if the conference is getting better.
I mean, the conference is getting a little bit worse. I went the other way there.
Yeah.
The conference is getting a little bit worse there. I feel like I have to look through the schedule, I suppose, but
that's fair.
I think
I think you would.
That 8 or 9 win moniker. I mean, that seems like a pretty good, point for me. Is I would say, like, if the over under I was setting, I would probably set it 7.5 wins without looking at the schedule. So I would say over that is a really good season.
I think there's 9 wins here.
Really.
And I think 9 wins, you got a chance to be in the New Year's Day 6. Now you got to win your championship game, but
you get Tulane at home, which is really nice, and you get Boise State at home, which is really nice.
You got Bethune-Cookman, that's a win. You go to Arkansas State, Butch Jones on the hot seat there, but that you should be a winner.
Agreed.
Then you got Navy at home.
New coach, you got to think you win that game. Thursday night game, too. How about that?
Yeah. And then I think you've got – all I got is you got Boise at home, but before that, I think –
That's right, Missouri.
You got Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
That's in St. Louis. Then Boise at home. Then Tulane at home. Then UAB there.
After hearing Coach Dilfer on the morning show last week, I like that. I like him and this UAB team. I know it's a new coach and he probably has a ways to go, but I really enjoyed listening to him talk on the morning show last week.
He's an interesting guy. They've always had a good program.
Very much so.
Bill Clark really got that thing from scratch going. They remember, went away from football. He brought it back and got it to this point, and Dilfer's got it now. I just think it is going to be a lot of fun, and I think there's 9 wins in there. And if there are, I think you got a chance for big things. There are some lists that have Ryan on the hot seat. CBS has done that. I don't know that should be the case.
There could be 10 wins on here.
There could be. And don't forget, if you play in the championship game
that's right.
That can be the 10th win easily. And that gets you into the New Year's Day 6 mix. And then you get a lot more people interested. And if there are conferences that are going to expand and looking at you as a positive, that's a big statement to make at the right time. This is a big year. Don't want to put any more pressure on anybody than needs to. But you would think that 9 wins there for the offing at the right time could go a long, long way. And then we talk about legacies, right? If you're the coach that generates the season at the right time to get you into the mix of conference expansion, you go down in history. And there are plenty that love Ryan. There are plenty that are skeptical about him. I believe in him. And I think he's got a real opportunity right here this year. It's going to depend on Seth Hennigan. It's going to depend on 19 different transfers, including Simeon Blair, who you got to figure is really going to be in the mix because he has been invited to go to AAC Media Day. So we shall see. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studio. Don't forget the summer clearance sale. They're asking for your help. They want to clear out stuff, and they are making it worth your while with all the do-it-yourself pools if you install $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools, less than $2,000. Select play gyms, $18.99. Patio furniture up to 30% off, and a 24-month same-as-cash financing opportunity. It's available during this summer clearance sale. Please get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Our title sponsor are the people that always help me. If I got a question about any car, or I want to make a deal on a used pre-owned car, I know I call Chris True or any of the gang at right there, Lamar, it's Highway 78, and Craft Road, the first exit in Mississippi. I know I'm taken care of. That's why they had such great customer retention. They still have an opportunity through the bank to finance with Genesis, and you end up with a $1,000 rebate on a G70. These cars are amazing. The whole experience of buying a car or a pre-owned car, whatever you're looking for, or having service done on a car, that experience, A+, when you go to Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. We do a thing on Mondays. We call it Precious Metals. I got to give a bronze to the Chicago Cubs.
3 of 4. I called a sweep, Dave, so they're disappointing by my standards.
What?
I called a sweep of the Cubs. I thought they were going to sweep the Cardinals this weekend.
What would make you say that?
Well, I thought the Cardinals got away with a really good pitching matchup in the series before, and I thought the Cubs had some of their best arms going against some of the Cardinals' worst. I thought the Cubs would sweep them, and they almost did.
Well, 3 of 4 anytime against the Cardinals for the Cubs. We'll take it. And here's the thing. I kind of thought of this series. Whoever won the series was still going to stay in the race. The loser of the series was going to become a seller. I think the Cardinals are going to be like Homer Skelton Hyundai. They're going to start selling. We'll see. I got a couple of silver medals. Actually, one silver medal. I got a bunch of golds. I got to give a silver medal to Michael Jordan. You're going to go, what? He's not playing anymore. What's the deal? So Michael Jordan is turning out to be about as good a businessman as he was a player. I think he's the greatest who ever played the game. I'm a little biased, being from Chicago.
But not a good businessman, for sure, apparently.
No.
Oh, you're saying he's a very good businessman.
I'm saying he's as good a businessman as he was a player. May not be a great manager, because he's owned Charlotte since 2010. But here's why I am telling you he's as good a businessman as he was a basketball player. Do you know how much he purchased Charlotte for in 2010?
I don't, actually.
In 2010, he purchased the Charlotte Hornets for $275 million. Do you know how much he sold it for last week? And it was approved by the NBA 13 years later?
A lot more than that.
10 times the amount. $3 billion. $275 million, 13 years later, $3 billion. Now, he's retaining a minority share, so I don't know how much money he's directly getting. He was already worth $1 billion, so I'm going to figure he's worth at least $3 billion now.
Unbelievable.
Crazy.
He's getting into the NASCAR game now. He's still purchasing stuff and purchasing more and more cars in NASCAR.
Got a lot more money to do it with.
That's right.
And then, so my golds are pretty easy. Brian Harman, first major, third PGA win, 36. We mentioned already. Second youngest to Sergio. Just the third lefty in 151 years. Bob Charles in 63. Phil, sometime in the 2000s, I forget. But only the third lefty in 151 years. Now, granted, there weren't that many left-handed players early on. They only made right-handed clubs, so everybody had to learn how to play right-handed. But still pretty darn amazing. He beat out 4 guys by 6 strokes. And John Rahm, Tom Kim, you were mentioning, all big names now in the game.
Big names.
And Brian Harman, who's not a big name and a slight guy at 5'7", 150. He blew by them all. Amazing. 6 strokes in terrible weather. Unbelievable. And then Freddie McGriff and Scott Rowland. McGriff with 443 home runs would have gotten to 500, but remember, 94-95 shortened by strikes. Those games probably cost him to get to 500, but he had 30-plus homers for 5 different major league teams, Freddie McGriff. And then Scott Rowland who is the 12th Hall of Famer who will put the Cards logo on his Hall of Fame plaque. While with St. Louis, 4 All-Stars, 3 Gold Gloves. And also a very eloquent speech, by the way. Went back to his Little League team. Thank them. It was good. 2 worthy, deserving guys into the Hall, McGriff and Rowland. They get my final golds.
Well, he wouldn't have made it into the Hall if it wasn't for that Little League team he was on. I mean, they really influenced him.
They developed him, baby.
That's right. My bronze medals go to a lot of baseball teams that had some good weekends. I didn't mention the Cubs, but I really should. Like you said, 3 of 4 of the Cardinals. Great weekend for them. The Orioles beat the Rays 3 out of 4. The Orioles are hitting 200 in July, the second worst mark in baseball.
That's coming.
Tomorrow. Talking to TJ about it.
Well, we will, but it's coming up in medals.
Oh, really? My Reds sweep the D-backs. Not my Reds, but the Reds sweep the D-backs this weekend. The D-backs off a great series with the Braves where they scored a lot of runs. End up getting swept by the Reds that are playing great baseball. And then the Nationals swept the Giants this week. The Giants also struggling to hit. It's the first series sweep for the Washington Nationals in 96 series, almost 2 years.
Oh, my gosh.
June 14th to 16, 2021. Lane Thomas stole 4 bases in the game yesterday. The Nationals really hot right now. My silver medal goes to Messi in his first game for Inter Miami. Did you see this free kick he got? Scored a goal in the 95th minute of the game. Something's up. How does he get a free kick right outside the box in the 95th minute? You know, it seems a little bit fishy.
It was an unbelievable shot.
It was an unbelievable shot, no doubt about that.
I mean, you talk about the English he put on the curve, just upper left-hand corner. That was incredible.
He gets to hug his family.
While you're talking about that, this amazed me. Did you see the Saudis have made a bid to buy Kylian Mbappe from Paris Saint-Germain for $332 million? So that would be just a transfer fee, right?
That's right.
I'm pretty sure. Cristiano Ronaldo is on that team, who's also Frenchman. Mm-hmm. Do you know how much the Saudis are paying him a year?
No, I don't.
$200 million.
Mbappe's getting more.
Well, I don't
for
know
the transfer fee.
The transfer, then they got to pay him.
Yeah, that's right. That'd be unbelievable.
Where do they get? Well, I guess I know where they get
that's
this money
right.
from the ground. Unbelievable.
And then my gold medals, the 2 Hall of Famers, like you mentioned. Unbelievable guys, very deserving.
You didn't give Harmon anything?
Well, see, Dave, I always know you're good for 1 golf medal over the weekend, so I can spread us out a little bit.
All right. My rust, well, here's what we're talking about. Tampa Bay Rays. They lost 2 in a row now, but 7 of their last 10. They are now behind Baltimore, as you mentioned it, in the American League East. This is incredible. They started 30-5, right? You know what their record is since that 30-5 start? They're now 6 games under 500 since that start. They're 31-37. Poor TJ, he's probably pulling his hair out.
They're talking about a lot of chemistry issues in that locker room. Juan DeFranco, one of their marquee players, apparently his head got a little big, and there was some disagreements and fights in the locker room, and they've been losing games ever since that happened.
Wow, we'll have to double-check with that. My final is to the fans in Hoylake, England at Royal Liverpool. They booed Brian Harman. You know, they were saying, hit the ball into the bunkers, and they were saying things that he said were unrepeatable. Come on, have a little class in Liverpool.
Unrepeatable. I love that. He wouldn't tell us what it was.
Yeah.
My rust today, and we had a long week last week, a great week. Brett Norsworthy did great work at SEC Media Days.
Oh, yeah. Always.
But I have to give a rust to SEC Media Days.
Really?
They're kind of pulling an in-between, making it a made-for-TV event and traditional like it always was, where you got Radio Row there and all the reporters asking questions and stuff like that. They're playing right in between that, where you're seeing leagues like the ACC that starts tomorrow. They've gone all in on being a television production. And I think it makes a way better product to watch on TV and a way better product to sell. Basically, all you're doing is advertising the games in the fall anyway. And I think the ACC's done a better job. I'd like to see the SEC do a better job going forward. It seems like the coaches didn't really want to be there. The coaches are never going to say much of anything, but their personalities didn't seem to be on display the way they usually were. I thought it was the worst one since I've been following the event. And so I'll have to give a rust to SC Media Days. I'd like to see them clean it up in the future.
I'll be curious to see what you think of the AAC, because it's all one day. It's players it's the coaches in one area that are all televised, and I think they got 15 minutes. That's it, each guy. And then you got the players. I don't know if that's on TV or not. I'm sure it's got to be, right? It's all going to be. We'll see how that comes out. That'll be tomorrow. But a rush for the SEC. Woo.
They're making a lot of money.
I wonder. We'll have to find out. Maybe he's listening and give us a text if he thought these were good SEC media days, because that was 28 for Brett Norsworthy. All right, we got to take a break. As usual, we're late. Munsey's going to join us. He's got some updates on some things. Ted Butler will talk about Brian Harmon. We got to talk about Player of the Year, because we have 4 different winners in the majors, and that's the way golf is these days. We mentioned we're in the Family Leisure Studios, but I got to let you know it's hot out there. You, I know, have to be thinking about air conditioning and not going out, and it's going to get to near 100 again this next coming weekend. All you got to do to make sure is call 384-3511. They're there in a flash, and I'll tell you the truth. They're thorough. They're going to put on their little slippers. They're going to come in. There's 16 points of emphasis in your inside unit. They will tune up. Then they'll go outside, and they'll get all the dirt and the grime and the leaves out of those outdoor units. Sometimes it's 1 or 2. Some systems have 3 units. They get it all. Everything's in harmony. You know what that means? No breakdowns. You know what that means? Your system lasts longer. Mine's 18 years old. You know what it also means? Your MLGW bill goes down because you're efficient. You're in tune. It's like chicken soup. It's preventative medicine. It's perfect. 384-3511. Call my guys at Conway. They will keep you cool this summer. We're back in just a minute. Mr. Cool himself, Jason Munz, is next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I think it's the slow smoking over pecan and hickory wood.
It's the secret combination of dry rub spices.
Maybe it isn't one single thing that makes Central Barbecue special.
I didn't say it was one thing. I said there's probably one thing that makes Central Barbecue special that's more important than the other things that make Central Barbecue special.
It's the 24-hour meat marinade.
That was the name of my band in high school, Meat Marinade.
Let's try and focus on Central Barbecue Spot, okay? Have we said Central Barbecue is special enough?
I'm not sure if we can say it enough because Central Barbecue is so special.
Ooh, nice. Going from Central Barbecue is special to Central Barbecue is so special.
That should probably do it.
Central Barbecue is so special.
At Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, it's time to make this the summer sales event you've been hoping for. Take a power trip in 2023 Fiat 500X Pop 4-door all-wheel drive, $27,990 or $408 a month. Dominate in the beast. 2023 Dodge Charger XST 4-door, we Gossett at $30,990 or $458 a month. And rule the road in dependable power 2023 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab 4x2, $32,990 or $474 a month. And if we don't have it, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net. If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars. 75 months at 6.10 APR, 3,500 down, pop, BP 990492, MSRP 31,355, Charger PH 504,815, MSRP 35,630, Ram PS 55,4620, MSRP 40,460, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
What we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation. Just talking about my generation. This is my generation. This is my generation, baby. My generation.
All right, welcome back in. You know, today's a beautiful day, isn't it? Today's the day you ought to be out of Miramichi, don't you think? Miramichi, if you go afternoon, you get a $10 break. If you go 3 o'clock, it's even more off the original greens fee. It's shaded in many areas, and there's water all over the golf course. They're very conscious about that. Best warm-up facilities, great driving range, unbelievable area to learn how to hit out of sand traps. They've got it all at Miramichi, and all you got to do is just go about 12 minutes north of downtown, Highway 51. He said, I got a new way I go that takes me Raw Mill, I think it is, and I get off at Jackson, and I'm telling you, I'm there. And this is amazing. From my house, Walnut Grove and Perkins area, I can get to Miramichi in 19 minutes now. From downtown, it's 12 minutes. I don't know what you're waiting for. You want to play the great golf? You want to go to see beauty and challenge? You go to Miramichi in Woodstock. All right, we haven't talked to him. I guess we did talk to him last week, didn't we? We're not going to talk to him next week because I'm gone again. It's summer. Come on. I'm old. I need these breaks. Jason Munz, how are you this morning? You're getting ready for a great trip, right? You're going to see the Tigers take on Lester Quinones, who just got a new two-way deal with Golden State, but he's apparently going to play for some Dominican Republic thing. And this is crazy. Did you see today? Kyle Anderson. How about this? Kyle Anderson, who's now, of course, with the Timberwolves, has become a Chinese citizen through the Chinese Basketball Association. Actually got to meet with Yao Ming. So he can play for China in the FIBA World Cup, which Jaren Jackson Jr. is playing for the U.S., right? So Kyle Anderson's paternal grandmother was born in Jamaica to a Chinese father and a Jamaican mother. And that connection, like 3 generations ago, half his family was from China. He's in. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, no, I hope that happens, honestly. Like, I mean, there's a lot that I'm looking forward to about the trip. And yes, I am actively gearing up for it. I bought all my travel size stuff yesterday, all my travel size toiletries and things.
Did you update your passport? Make sure everything's good there.
Yep, as a matter of fact, I actually purchased a wallet that can keep, like, it's a passport wallet in one, like a passport holder / wallet. So I am. Like I said, I am actively gearing up for it and looking forward to it very much. But you mentioned Lester. I know that report that, like, the president of that Dominican national team went on the radio and said that Lester and Chris Duarte and Justin Minaya were all going to be facing Memphis in that exhibition game. But I talked to Lester's dad, and he said that's not accurate. Unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I talked to Lester's dad, and he said, it's an exhibition, and I mean, look, the Warriors just, signed. He just signed a 2-way, as you mentioned, with the Warriors. I mean, I think there's a very real possibility that he is going to make the team this year on a full-fledged deal,
right.
And I don't think the Warriors would like it very much if Lester, if their new investment went out and got hurt in an exhibition game against his former college team. I would think that would not be great for them. And so, yeah, I think, like I said, Lester's dad is pretty certain that he won't be playing in it, which is a bummer because that would have been really cool.
That would have been cool, but I'm just so happy for Lester. So he's got a chance to be, a rotation player now. He had a great summer league, and he can shoot and he can defend, and he's got a really good will to win. I always appreciated Lester Quinones. I can only hope for the best. So, who's going on this trip to the Dominican? I guess Penny's still waiting for guys to show up, right?
Yeah, he is. This is the way I've been telling people. With the way things have gone this offseason, I'm not completely sure. Well, let's say this. I think that they're, even among the staff, it's like, some days they feel like it's going to be this group of guys, and maybe the next day something happens or something changes. It's like, okay, well, maybe this guy isn't going, or maybe this guy is going. I'm not sure that they know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, who's going and who's not. But so here's what we do know. We know that there are, I believe, 8 players. Not I believe. There's 6 players. There's 6 scholarship players on campus right now and 2 walk-ons. That's Jaden Hardaway, Noah Stansberry. Those are your 2 walk-ons.
Right.
Ashton Hardaway, J.J. Taylor, Carl Sharonfont. Those are your 3 freshmen that are here. And then you've got Caleb Mills, Jonathan Pierre, and Nick Jourdain. So that's 8.
Wait. So you already know that Jaden Hardaway is definitely a walk-on?
Oh, well, no, I mean, I think I think it's reasonable to go ahead and pencil that in. Yes. I don't think it has been officially made official.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you should go ahead and pencil that in.
Okay.
So that's 8 players that we know will definitely be there. And then Javon Quinterly is due to report to campus tomorrow. So that's 9. I was told last week that the staff expects Jordan Brown to be here before they leave for the Dominican Republic. So that would be, if he goes and plays, that would be 10.
And that would mean, by the way, that he's eligible to play, because I don't believe you could take him on that trip if he wasn't eligible to play next year, right?
Right. I would think that would disqualify you from doing anything as far as team activities is concerned. I think you got to be cleared and eligible for that to happen. So, yeah, he's not here until he's here. And that hasn't happened yet. But like I said, I think the expectation is that he will be, and I think the expectation is that Jalen Young will be here. So that's 11. So you're getting close, you're getting close to having good numbers while you're down there. I think the jury's still out on David Jones, when exactly he's going to be here and whether or not he's going to make the trip, which would be a bummer if he didn't, because he's from the Dominican Republic. So you hope for his sake that he can make that trip. But, right. You can't say for certain until they actually get here. And they're still waiting on a few.
What about Jalen Young?
Yeah, Jalen Young. I talked to him last week, and he told me that his plan, that he was planning to be here like Saturday or Sunday, like yesterday or the day before. My understanding is he is not here yet. He has not arrived as of this morning. So it's just, all this stuff is still very fluid. Like these guys, and when they're coming and when they're planning to come and all that stuff, it's all very up in the air until, like I said, it actually happens. And it's just the first time I can remember since Penny's gotten here that it's been quite so fluid. But it is what it is. I mean, you've got guys that have had to clear up, some academic things that they were obviously willing to wait on and willing to take a chance on. And so I think this is kind of the sort of thing that comes with that.
Malcolm Dandridge, is he waiting on what happens with DeAndre Williams?
I think yes and no. I think it's really difficult to get a handle on exactly what's going on with Malcolm. You hear St. Louis, you hear Western Kentucky, you hear West Virginia. You started hearing Michigan there for a little bit a week or two ago. And you hear Memphis. I think I can't remember exactly when the last time it was that we talked to Penny, but I asked him, point blank, are you officially done with Malcolm? And, he's like, no, honestly, Malcolm's family, and, you never say never. And so I think that because all this other stuff is still kind of up in the air, with all these, with the Jordan Browns and the the DeAndre Williams and like all this other T. Leonard, which I think we can all safely go ahead and chalk that one up as that ship has sailed. He's I would be shocked. I've been telling people for the last week that it's pretty much a 99% chance against him being here,
and that's academic, correct?
Yes, but I think it's closer to like 99.9 at this point. I don't think he's going to be here. But so because all this other stuff is up in the air, I think that's drawing out Malcolm's process. I mean, last I heard, he still has one more visit he's planning to take. I don't know where it's to or who it's with, but I do think that, if he was like actively wanting to not be at Memphis anymore, he would have made his decision by now. Feels like, or he would, come out and publicly say, there's no chance I'm coming back to Memphis, but that hasn't happened. So, it's another one that's just kind of like, till stay tuned.
Yeah. Stay tuned. All right, last thing. I know he's coming, and that is the new strength coach, an old strength coach, Darby Rich. How did that work out?
Yeah, Darby, he's, that's like, it's been, since he left, it's been kind of up and down in the strength and conditioning department. They hired Rob Hornett, who was here for one season, a couple of, like, not this past season, but the one before he was here. He was Darby's immediate successor, and that didn't work out. He went on to Liberty after his one season here. And then last season they sort of did it kind of piecemeal a little bit. Luis Castellano, he was sort of the on-site everyday, like the day-to-day guy, but he was more so of like an interim solution because they felt like they could, like I said, by committee, sort of do it by committee with Kevin Olds and Ed Downs and Daryl Turner and Nick Higgins, who is the strength and conditioning coach for Memphis Olympic sports. But once the season ended, they moved on from that approach. And I guess about a month or so, 6 weeks ago, something like that, the door opened, opportunity knocked, and Darby Rich answered it. And, he's been at Texas Tech the last 2 seasons, and we know that the head coach he was working for, Mark Adams, was removed from his job after some things went down in Lubbock, and as a result, when they hired Grant McCaslin from new AAC member North Texas, he cleaned house, and so Darby was available, and
he's a top 5 guy, so that was a big win. Once again,
it is.
For Penny.
It's huge.
Jason,
somebody with some familiarity, it's very good.
Have a great trip. We're going to skip next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. Have a great trip to the Dominican. I know you'll have plenty of stories to tell us then.
Absolutely. Thank you, Willow.
Thank you. Slam dunk again, according to Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf. There is nothing more gratifying than have one of your professional peers call and ask for your help. Over the years, Sheldon he's been asked to sell properties for many retired or former real estate brokers because they just know how good he is at marketing. He's got this excellent track record at selling, getting you to that closing table quickly. And he's just got a good rep. And when it sounds crazy, like he does when he says, talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers, he knows what he's doing. Because once you talk to him, you'll know he's your guy. He'll tell you about that highly successful strategic marketing program, and he'll make that move to the closing table just so easy for you. All you got to do is call 483-0546, or you can go to MemphisRelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten. MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546. Go and do it now. We got to take a break. When we come back, we talk golf. We talk with our guru. That's Ted Butler. He's next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
The FedEx St. Jude Championship returns to TPC Southwind, August 9th through the 13th. Don't miss your chance to witness the top 70 players from the PGA Tour season battle it out in the first event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Only 50 players will make it through Memphis. Don't miss your chance to watch the drama unfold. Daily grounds and upgraded ticket options are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Summer's here, and Gossett Kia on the Pike has the hottest deals you'll find anywhere in the Mid-South. Hit the highway with 41 MPG Highway 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $259 a month, $27.99 due at signing. 2023 Sportage LX 308 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 2023 World Performance Car 2023 Kia EV6 Wind, EPA estimated range 310 miles, $499 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month leases plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte PE 641,916, MSRP 21,910. Sportage P 718,270, MSRP 28,185. EV6 P 510, 5073, MSRP 49,965. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
The first name in Memphis Italian food, it's Ronnie Grizzani's in Regalia. Lunch, the Italian favorites with crisp cold Miss Mary salad, lobster tower, fried green tomatoes, the crab stack, Monday through Saturday for lunch. Ronnie Grizzani's Catering, check out the lunch catering guide at RonnieGrizzani.com. The Elfo special, salad, Italian bread for $14 per person. Ronnie Grizzani's, they'll bring it to you. 901-850-0191. Pick up a pan of lasagna at Ronnie Grizzani's at Regalia, or check out the bulk menu at RonnieGrizzani.com. Get your favorites at home. Chicken Alfredo, ravioli, Italian spinach, curbside pickup, delivery to your door. Free within 4 miles of Regalia. The bar, stay cool with the cocktail list. Steaks, the 8-ounce Gorgonzola and bacon wrap filet. Try it, thank me later. In High Point Grocery, Super Low in Spotswood and Goodman Road, and Buster's Liquors. Make lunch or dinner easy at Ronnie Grizzani's, a Memphis tradition since 1909.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Our final segment of the Monday, as always, with Ted Butler. He's brought to you by Grind City, that wonderful local beer brewery downtown that serves up Poppy's Pills. That's just what the doctor ordered. You know, that's the Pilsner. That is their top seller. There's the Godhopper. There's new things like the Thaddeus. That's their Amber Lager. And the Belga, a little like Blue Moon. It's a Belgian-style wheat ale. It's terrific. They're all terrific and local. They're a taste of Memphis. They're Grind City Brewing downtown. You can get them there. You can get it all over town like the Spirit Shop. We are joined, as always, by our guru of golf. That would be Ted Butler. Let's start with this little guy that was getting booed, and somehow the lefty worked his way through it, and Brian Harmon's your champion of the Open this year. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It was fun to watch somebody who drives the ball 275 yards actually win a golf tournament. You know, and with precision iron shots and unbelievable short game and putting, it kind of reminded me of Hale Irwin and Dave Stockton and Lanny Watkins, those kind of guys. It was very entertaining.
Oh, and putting. You've got to putt to win majors. But 40-foot birdies, 17-foot par saves. He was so clutch.
Absolutely. It was just amazing to me. You know, if it hadn't been him, it would have been a really exciting golf tournament with Day and Kim and Rahm and those guys all tied for second. But he just kept coming back, you know, punch after punch.
So who's your player of the year? Because we had 4 different major winners. You had John Rahm win the Masters, and then he really didn't do much. He made a nice charge over the last couple of days. Koepka won the PGA. He's not even in the PGA. Wyndham Clark wins the U.S. Open. Now you got Harman winning the British Open. You had McIlroy's won a couple of times. You realize he's won 19 times in the last 9 years that he didn't win a major, which is baffling. And who else? Scheffler, who's like top 15 or 20 every single week. Fowler, who came back from like 300 in the world to being in the top 40 again. That's a heck of a story. Who's your player of the year?
It's probably going to depend on the FedEx Cup because all those guys have a finger in the fire. Scheffler has played the best golf all year without winning a major. But if Rahm were to win the FedEx Cup, it'd have to be him. You know, finishing second yesterday and winning the Masters. I don't know that Koepka's a contender, but right for me right now it'd be Scheffler as the player of the year. But you know, if he wins the FedEx Cup for sure.
Do you figure into that stuff if we had heroics in Rome at the Ryder Cup?
Well, I thought about that. Yeah, I guess you'd have to. I'm not sure when they picked the player of the year exactly, whether it's after the Ryder Cup or not.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't remember that.
I thought of that early on. I don't remember either, but surely if somebody went 5-0 and you know dusted off the Europeans, that'd be worthy.
I think you'd have to figure that in. But
I would think so. Yeah, absolutely.
But let's just say McIlroy wins the FedEx Cup again, right?
Yeah.
Didn't win a major. Drough's still there. Say he went 5-0 for Europe in the Ryder Cup. You got to figure that in, right? Even though it's the opposite way.
Yeah, I guess you do. You have to wait and see what happens. That's a little remote. They'd be 5-0. You know, and the FedEx Cup. Who knows? It's an open game right now.
Difficult question for you. Ricky Fowler's been a great story. Justin Thomas has fallen off the face of the earth. Had an 82 in the first round of the Open. Where would you go with your team if you're Zach Johnson for your Ryder Cup? You keeping JT on that team after he's really struggled this year?
I don't see how you can unless he makes a miracle comeback and starts playing golf again. You can't have a guy shooting in the 80s.
What's happened to him?
I have no idea because we never see him on TV anymore. You know, I don't know whether his swing has gone crazy. He's always missing cuts. I don't have a clue what's wrong with him, whether it's physical, mental, home. I don't know.
Something.
We never get to see him.
Yeah, it's gone haywire for him, no question. All right, last thing, we always do a tip. What is your tip for the day?
My tip of the day is beware of internet golf lessons.
Ooh.
Because when they say things like in 10 swings, you'll never hit another bad shot. And they can't see your swing. There's a lot of stuff out there. And people come in here every day and say, well, I saw this and I'm trying to do that. And I said, well, that's not what's wrong with your swing. You're working on the wrong thing. And it happens day after day after day. If somebody can see your swing, then they can help you. But otherwise, I've got guys coming in trying to shallow the club out, coming in behind themselves. You know, I look at them all, but just beware of them.
Ted, how many swings does it take to never hit a bad shot again? If it's more, it has to be more than 10.
No, when do you get muscle memory? That would be the question. Muscle memory.
Yeah, but it never comes a time where you don't hit a bad shot, though.
I know.
I mean, look at the greatest players on the planet still hit bad shots. That never happens.
Well, Brian Harmon yesterday said, I expect to hit a few bad ones.
Absolutely.
And I just hope they don't kill me. I find that interesting. You said something to me years ago, and then we got to go because we're already late. But I agree with this. And this is why it's important to find your teacher and stick with your teacher. But if you don't and you do this stuff on the internet, then you go out and you're going to say, let's do the work, right? We're going to go to the driving range. We're going to do this stuff. And you groove a bad swing.
Right.
Get it right so you can groove the right swing.
I see this every day out on the range. Guys come out here weekly doing the same thing over and over and over. And they say, oh, well, I practice. I don't get any better.
Yeah.
Because they're practicing the wrong thing.
Exactly. Go see your golf professional like Ted Butler over at Summer Golfing Games. Ted, thank you much. I'm going to be off next week, so we're going to take a break next week, and then we're back on forever, okay?
Okay, got it.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
That is our man, Ted Butler, on golf. He's brought to you by the good folks at the Spirit Shot. That's Eddie Connor's place. That's Poplar and St. Nick, 48 Poplar to be exact. I mentioned they've got all the local stuff in there. They got the Grind City stuff, but they got more. They have values. They got rare things. They've got middle of the road, and they've got the guys that can educate you which way to go. So if you're restocking, could be beer or wine, you're looking for valuable bourbon, you're looking for a great tequila, all you got to do is go talk to Eddie Connor. So convenient. Right down from Clark Tower, right in the heart of East Memphis, that little log cabin you've passed by, but there's a lot of stuff inside. It's the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. That'll do it for us tomorrow. Oh, we got to talk to TJ about this Tampa Bay Race stuff and golf and a whole lot more. And AAC Media Days, we got it all covered for you tomorrow. Coming up next, it's Johnny Radio. Have a great day.
Jim's Place Grill